The xParticles electric object, xpElektrix, is designed to generate lightning effects. Once enabled, you get this UI. There's several modes to start with, and we will start with the beginning mode, which is toObject. What that means is you have a start object and an end object. These can be anything. What we'll do is we'll start with a null. So we'll create two nulls. We'll move one here. We'll create a copy. And we'll name these A and B. Go back to the Electrix object and drop A in the start link and B in the end link. And as you can see, it generates a spline. If you push play, the spline will flicker like lightning. What we can do now is we can look at how to control the effects. First we have spread, and that will spread it away from the origin of the end object. We can have a number of bolts, so you can have more than one bolt. Flicker interval, and the flicker interval is how many times it flickers within how many frames. At the current settings it's 3 frames, so you can have that long or slow depending on what you need, or a variation. Divisions will enable more subdivisions along the spline. A good number to work with is 6. As you can see, that gives you a nice effect for the lightning. If you push play, you can see you get a good looking lightning bolt. You can have divisions on the forks as well, which is going to enable more forks and higher subdivisions along those. And fork length mode, which is relative to the divisions. You have a multiplier for the fork length, so you can scale those down, as well as a maximum length for these. Weighting for the forks, so you can change where they are. And moving down, deviation settings, we have several options: absolute, proportionate to length, and this is how it's going to pull itself away from each other. Deform settings lets you put a noise shader or any other shader to add extra definition to the spline. So what we'll do is we'll crank this up so that it's just going to sit there as one bar of lightning. Go down to the deform settings, go to shader, add noise, go into the noise, and then you can add animation speed. And what that means is you're going to get an extra level of detail. You can see them moving. Let's make that a bit faster so you can get a bit of shoe. So you can see we've now got moving along each fork. Go back to Electrix and set this back to 3 frames. And what that does is just going to bring in a little bit more life to each bar of lightning. You can also take down the amount of forks to 0 to just get straight lightning to lightning. And then we have spline types, and this gives you the options to change it from linear to B-spline or cubic, whatever you require. So that's the default option, and these can be animated. So if I want to move these, you can pull your lightning around. What we also have is also the ability to send it to particles, or from particles to particles, or as a spherical. And spherical means it's just going to come from the origin of the start object. So if I set that, you can see they're all coming out of object A. So, and it's just going to create a spherical lightning emitter. But let's have a look at using 2 particles. I'll get myself an emitter, and we'll bring the emitter over here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set the emitter up so it only emits a few particles which have no speed, so they're just going to sit there. So go to the emissions tab, change it down to 10 with a life frame of, let's say, 0.5 and no speed. change the display so it's obvious. And if I push play, you'll get a flickering of particles. What we can do is go to the Electrix object, change the mode to 2 particles. So that's going, start object is object A, and emitter is our new emitter. And now when we push play, the lightning is going to be generated from our start object to the particles. And if we enable more particles, let's say set that back to like 100, you'll get more bolts of lightning. So you can see there's quite a bit of power there, and again you can move objects around. The other mode is particles to particles. So if I copy this emitter, move it over here, with Electrix I'm going to set this emitter in as a destination emitter, and now if I push play, we're going to get lightning bolts between particles.